Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in one of my games between TFlame and me here on Kulas Ravine. Here I am spawning as the blue Terran player on the bottom right hand side against TFlame spawning over here as the red Protoss player on the top left hand side. Now I did finally get my pop filter, so go ahead and let me know if things sound a little bit better in terms of sound. Also, thank you for everyone who's given donations to me in the past couple of days to help me with my surgery. My surgery actually ended up costing a little bit more than I expected it to. So yeah, thank you for everyone there. If you guys want to support me, go ahead, in the order of supporting me, go ahead and subscribe to me if you have not already subscribed. If you do like this video, remember to like it, as that helps my YouTube rating. And finally, if you do in fact want to support me by giving me a donation, it's much appreciated. But I'm not a beggar, not going out there trying to ask every single video for money from you guys. Since I am partially sponsored, my sponsor on this particular game is brought to you by LU Computers. Go ahead and check out their website, lucomputers.com. They have a bunch of computers already tested for the upcoming StarCraft 2 release in about a week. So yeah, everyone counting down the days there. Another thing to note, my face is so swollen that you may be able to hear it in my voice. It looks like someone punched me in the face since I just had my surgery. Anyways, TFlame now coming around the corner. Then I'll go ahead and activate that Zelnaga Watchtower now coming in. Here I am as the Terran player. This is after the most recent patch, and one of the things that I wanted to say was I'm really just sad about the patch. I had played a couple of great games that I wanted to go ahead and shoutcast for you guys, but it doesn't seem like Blizzard, I am able to watch old replays anymore. So all of these games were played on Saturday afternoon or later. Back over here, a probe now just trying to push in through this front door. Here I am coming in with an SCV trying to fight back against this probe as I'm scouting out with this SCV over here. Taking a look at TFlame's place. TFlame now getting an assimilator. Gonna go ahead and just start collecting some gas over here, and now only getting one single gateway and also getting that second cybernetics core up there, getting some more pylons as well. Back over here, I am with the barracks and going to go ahead and start training up Marauders, as Marauders are generally the better unit of choice in this whole entire matchup. SCV now going to go out, try to do some more scouting as well. I think I scout in the wrong direction. Should have just tried to scout over here instead. So it's going to take me quite some time until I realize that that is in fact what he is going to be doing. Back over here, you can see I am in fact getting my barracks. I'm going for a double rack strategy, just because I think that Stalkers may be in the mix. Stalkers are a very powerful unit against the Protoss army, but you really need Stimpack and you really need Medivacs to really round out that Stalker army. So, the Marauder army. I am also a little loopy because of Vicodin, so excuse me if I am a little bit too loopy. You can already see Stalkers now being trained up. Cybernetics core is down. Also putting a pylon in the back of the base and also researching that warp gate ability. Back over here, I have an SCV activating one Zelnaga Watchtower, while my opponent TFlame activating another Zelnaga Watchtower on the other side of the map. So just trying to chain up more Marauders on Kulas Ravine. Kulas Ravine is one of those maps where ground units are much more powerful. Just because there's not a ramp going up into your base, ranged ground units are very powerful. Against a Terran player, if it's a Terran mirror match, you will rarely see front door seals, just because those Marauders will be able to just start shooting with a range of 6 against your supply depots and your barracks, and you have nothing you can really do about it. So out come these Marauders, and now I was able to see that early Stalker come into play. So now I move out with those 3 Stalkers and with these 3 Marauders and take out a very early Stalker, which is going to be very beneficial to me, training up 2 more Stalkers or more Marauders as well, as these Marauders now move on out. I did not check the Zelnaga Watchtowers, so TFlame does in fact know that I am already coming back in. We have another pylon being warped in, but no additional tech building, so that's going to be really good for me, as all he really has is Stalkers and Sentries being warped in. Stalkers are just going to fall to the wayside against these Marauders, and just because they take the additional damage. And now in come these units, and there we go, fighting back and forth here, trying to focus down one of those other Stalkers there. A Sentry comes in, tries to get a force field on the back of those units. trying to micro these units a little bit better. And one Marauder down to 8 hit points, trying to pull it back, trying to make sure that I can try and just win up on this fight this whole entire time. So down goes another Zealot. If I can just try to kite it just a little bit further, I should be able to win out on this fight. So down it goes, and now all that is left is another sentry. Should have just perhaps continued the fight here. Another Zealot coming in. Need a micro even further. Zealot coming in to try to take down this Marauder over here. Sentry sitting in the back, fairly well protected. Should really be trying to micro these units much better there. Also, only 2 Marauders against these armies here. Stalkers and Zealots coming in. Warp Gate research. Now upgrading these gateways into Warp Gates as I'm trying to fight back and forth, trying to take down this one Stalker. As that Stalker now going to be able to focus down and take down these 2 units here. And down goes this last Marauder. So that Marauder gonna get taken down unless Marauder with 1 hit point may be able to escape. Not 100% sure. I'm trying to dive back this unit. Unbeknownst to me, there are more Stalkers coming in, and now my Stalkers are taking a very heavy amount of damage. Now trying to destroy these backdoor rocks instead. As you can see, the army size is switching. TFlame now sitting at a 525 versus my 300, and things are not looking good here. However, my SCV activating this Zelnaga Watchtower is still giving me plenty of sight, and I know that he's not going to try to continue to push at this stage. Pylon now being warped in over here, a proxy pylon, enabling him to warp in additional units close to the battlefield as I try to destroy these backdoor destructible rocks right now, and also getting siege tanks. No player really wants to commit back and forth. If those Stalkers and these Zealots did try to come into my base, even though he would have the larger army, my reinforcements would come in much more quickly. And because those reinforcements coming in so much more quickly, I would be able to just push back that attack fairly easily. Now we have a starport being brought into play, along with a factory building a reactor, and also getting an engineering bay, wanting to make sure that I am fairly well protected against any sort of aggression, any sort of air unit harassment, as Protoss players, Void Rays, and Phoenixes are fairly devastating to an unsuspecting Terran player if he's just going mass Marauders. Mass Marauders all of a sudden you start, the Void Rays come in, start attacking buildings, and then are able to just rip through your Marauders as they deal so much extra damage towards those units. So I go ahead and build a reactor on my starport so I can start double training up some medevacs and also some Vikings over here. So you can take a look at the production tab, getting the level 1 weapons upgrade. You can already see the charge upgrade as well, so those speed lots going to be coming in. Stalkers do not have blink, however, and now with this proxy pylon here, more units will be able to warp in fairly easily. So I am trying to establish my second base, though. You can take a look at the harvester income. 32 harvesters compared to 31. However, I do have another orbital command, so I will be able to call down additional mules as well. Stalkers and Zealots being warped in back over here. And as a Terran player, you really need to be careful and cautious about your backdoor. Your backdoor is just one of those things you have to really be on guard against. And now in comes this whole entire army. I'm trying to push on in. I activate this SCV over here, activating this back Zelnaga Watchtower. There's so many Zelnaga Watchtowers on this map that you should always have a decent amount of sight all throughout the map. Now I see that there are Stalkers. I'm trying to push on in over here, so I'm going to move my Marauders from here up into here and then try to take down some of these Zealots as well. You can see there's also some Stalkers and a large number of sentries and Zealots. So my Marauders are going to be able to come into this position and be able to perhaps get down one of those Zealots. No, Zealot not going to be pushed back. And now I see that those Stalkers are trying to come in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stim my Marauders first so I can heal up all of those units. And then I'm going to engage, making sure that his Zealots are unable to really impose in that positioning here. And now he's in a hard, difficult position. He does cast a good amount of force fields, but those force fields doesn't really matter as my Marauders are in a very decent position. Also, I'm attacking very quickly, attacking at 1 attack per second, so you can see that bonus on that attack speed just really gonna let me win out on that fight here. So able to handle that back aggression fairly nicely. Marauders, Marines, medevacs, all drained out of their energy, but still offering plenty of support. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between me and TFlame here on Kulas Ravine.